So if you watch my videos regularly, you'll know that a few months back I had one of my Apple USB to Lightning cables actually melt on me. This is an official Apple cable. And following up from that, I actually did a video about charging your devices safely with a few ideas for you. And in today's video, I did some more internet searching and I've got a selection of alternatives to the official Apple cable for you to take a look at. Let's take a closer look. This is the selection of USB to Lightning cables I've got in to show you. I've got an Anker one just here, which is 6 feet or 1.8 meters. I've got the Btron sync and charge cable, which is also 1.8 meters or 6 feet. I've got this one from Bolse just here, the same length again. And then I've got a slightly shorter one. I've got the Spigen one, which is 1 meter or 3.3 feet. And then of course I've also got the original Apple Lightning to USB cable. So I want to start by showing you the original Apple Lightning cable, which was the replacement Apple sent me when my original cable melted, and show you that against the Spigen Ultra Slim USB charge and sync cable. They're both the same length, both 1 meter, and they're the two cables that are both most similar in their construction. So let's take a look at the full-size USB end first of all, and you can see these are just very similar indeed, and even the thickness of the cable and the part that's got a little bit more protection on is very similar in length as well. And if we move along to the actual part of the cable which has the lightning connector on, and again you can see very similar, almost identical in size. And if we turn it round, you can see the one with the Spigen branding on, and the thicker part of the sheath and the wire underneath really is the same gauge. So I would say these are more or less identical USB to Lightning cables. Next up is the Betron sync and charge cable, and a little bit of a correction for you. In my introduction to this video I said this cable was slightly longer at 1.8 meters. In fact this is 1 meter, the same as the official Apple Lightning to USB cable. If we take a look at this, you can see that this is a braided cable, very nice quality, nice sort of gauge of cable as well. On the USB end we have got this sort of gold finish to it. It is available in different colours, I'll show you those in a short while. And the bottom portion is actually plastic, so this part's metal, and then just underneath we've got plastic, and then we've got a thicker part where the braided cable goes into the connector. And very similar on this end, on the Lightning end of the connector, again metal with the Btron logo on, and then a plastic part underneath, and then this goes very thick down to the braided part of the cable. It looks a lot more robust, feels a lot better made than the Apple cable, and I would imagine that this would be less prone to breaking at this point. I mean, I haven't given it any long test, I've just tested that the cable works, so longevity I can't comment on, but it certainly feels like a lot more of a robust build of cable. Now this is available in different colours as well. This is obviously the gold version, we've also got a silver version, and then we've got a space grey version, so these match the current colours of the Apple devices. So next up we've got a slightly longer cable. This is 1.8 meters or 6 feet in length, and this is from Anker. This is their nylon USB cable with lightning connector. So again we've got this braided cable, very nice quality. I love the colouring on this. It's a combination of sort of creams and gold coloured threads on the braided cable. The USB end of the cable, very similar in fact to the Bolse one that I just showed you. We've got metal around the main part of the connector, and then a slightly thicker plastic piece, and this plastic insert goes into the back of this metal covering, and then this meets the actual braided part of the cable. This is a tiny bit longer than the Btron one, and then if we look at this end of the cable, so this is the lightning connector end, again metal around the actual connector, and then a plastic insert that meets the braided part of the cable. And this is again slightly longer than on the Betron one, and this just feels like a very nicely made cable. I love the colouring of course because it matches my gold iPhone 6. iPhone 6s is incoming, and iPhone 6s Plus incoming to the studio very soon. but I just love the colouring of this, and it feels like a very nice gauge cable. I think this will last a long time. It just feels much more luxurious and a much better option than the official Apple cable. And last but not least in this collection of cables, we've got this one from Bolse. This again is 6 feet or 1.8 meters, and this is the black-green version of the cable. Other colours are available, and again it's a braided cable. Very nice. It just feels so luxurious. Really well made. I love the pattern on this as well. Very nicely patterned. And again, this is very similar to the Btron cable. In fact, we've got a metal cover here, and then a plastic part here, and then a plastic piece coming down onto the braided cable. In fact, if I show you the Betron one, you can just see very similar, but on the Bolse one we've just got a bit longer plastic, almost twice the length in fact. So whether that's a good thing or not, I suppose it just moves this bending part down to here. So will it shift the problem, or will it in fact give more protection? I think it'll give more protection. And if we go round to the lightning end of the cable, again we've got the Bolse branding, and we've got the same length of plastic piece on the back of this metal cover. This feels like a really nice cable. Again, I think a much better option than the original Apple Lightning to USB cable. So in closing, are any of these cables a better option than the original Apple Lightning to USB cable? Well, with the Spigen one, this is very similar to the original Apple cable. I don't think it gives you any benefit over the original. It's from a different manufacturer. It might use slightly different composition in the plastics that are used, but I think this is more or less identical. It just comes in at a cheaper price point. With regards to all of the braided cables here, I like them all. The Btron one is a nice combination of braided cable, metal and plastic. The Anker one and the Bolse one do tend to have a little bit more robust connectors. So I think these two here would be my choice if I was spending my own money. But these three here are all good choices if you want a really good braided Apple USB to Lightning cable. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. If you have, hit that like button, leave me some comments, and I'll see you all again in another video very soon.